what is it that we are gonna be doing this year? So many of you here have been with us now for more than 6 months, and rightfully so, you all should already be, we should be putting you guys in the market now. And so that is going to be the focus for 2026. So between now and March 2026, we want to make sure that you are in the market. So even if you continue to stick around to study with us, right? To be in the environment, we also want to make sure that you are in the market interviewing, and we are supporting you, with those opportunities and putting you right there on the market. That's the first thing. Secondly, many of you might have observed that we have kind of tweaked um, our syllabus, right? We don't want to focus only on DevOps per time. We want to make sure that for every concept that we cover, we look at the security aspect of that concept, and we look at what is the cloud equivalent of that particular concept, right? So that would mean that except for those who have already been with us. In fact, there are some of you that should not even be in this class again. But for so many of you, we are going to be hitting the reset button. But that is not going to stop us from putting you on the market, right? Because we have already covered a lot of things like Docker, Kubernetes. So if you have already covered Kubernetes with us, then you should be good to enter the market. If you have also covered Terraform and cloud, then you should also be good to enter the market. The difference is that we are going to, from day one, which will start next week on the 10th of January, start looking at everything line like side by side. So let's say we are starting with Linux. We'll look at Linux as Linux, look at Linux for the cloud, and look at what? The cybersecurity aspect of Linux, right? So this is a modification that we are bringing into the program. And so we are doing this is because the market is becoming so integrative, right? And we need to adapt. So it's going to be more of an addition to you, right? Because most of you here didn't pay for cybersecurity, right? But now you have to learn it. Most of you didn't pay for in-depth, cloud computing, but now what we are bringing this to you, as an innovation, right? It's an innovation into what we want to cover, which means that we're going to look at, DevOps first hour, second hour cybersecurity, third hour cloud computing. But in essence, right, in effect, it's 2 hours of DevOps because cloud computing is also part of DevOps like that. But now it's going to be that we are doing everything side by side, right? So we're going to be hitting a reset, but also we are going to, in fact, if you feel that you are ready, right? You are ready to hit the market, let us know. Okay. You are confident enough. You want to hit the market. We are available throughout January, February, March, okay, to help you. So we're not going to have actually we are going to have graduation coming sometime. I think for Canada, we have an event that is coming up in Canada that is going to be in May. And we are anticipating an event in Lagos. But that event in Lagos is going to be more about, so it's going to be the launching of the Rent Sync Africa, application product, which most of you are going to be part of. And I want to encourage you all, right? If you were ever looking for an opportunity to invest in a Canadian company, We are very close to that opportunity that's coming. And that is going to be coming up sometime in February of this year, right? So not only would you work for a Canadian company directly while staying in this class, okay, volunteering, doing internship, or even investing, right? You have the opportunity to work on a real life application, both as maybe a volunteer and also an investor. And this has a futuristic element to it. Because when you invest in a foreign company, it means that you have some kind of economic ties to that place. And that means that in the future, everything being equal, you can what? You can find yourself in that particular environment. So we are doing everything to make sure that, we are we're empowering you, not just you, but also what empowering your future. And what we have noticed for Rensing Africa is that actually at the moment we are working on the demo site. So once that site is on, right, all of you in this class, that's when we are going to launch your LinkedIn profiles. Because then you're going to have Rensing Africa as your employer, right? And that alone is going to, is going to have so many recruiters reaching out to you because now what? Now they see a real product that you are working on. So maybe, as an accountant, as a marketer, as DevOps engineer, cloud engineer, architect. So all of these are the opportunities that you're going to see, when uh, we launch, when we start the Rensing application in 2020. I mean, next month. Now, one thing that also makes this project very unique is that, from what we are seeing, we want to make this project investor led. So it's going to be funded by investors, right? Which means that in terms of finances to pay the teams who are working on the project, all of that, that will never be a problem. So the way we are looking at this year, especially this year and moving forward, is we want to build a multi-billion-dollar company, right? And it's going to start this February, small, but the plan again is very big because we know that, see, I was telling somebody the other day that if RenSync Africa launches only in Nigeria, let's say by August, right? And let's say we have 500,000 subscribers, like landlords, okay? And let's assume that each person is paying $100 a month for using the application to manage their property, okay? That's just 500,000. Nigeria has a population of what? Of close to 200 million plus. We are what? We're looking for what? Just what? Just 500,000 subscribers. Now multiply that by $100 a month. How much is that? Right? That's how. That is $50 million that application can generate just in Lagos alone a month. So now if you multiply that by 12, how much is that? You know what I mean? So when you see companies wants to hire you and pay you $5,000 a month, they're not doing you any favor. It's because they have what it takes. And I have looked at us and I know that just us here, how many of us are in this class? See that? 33. Just us here. If we all have the same future and you're looking at things from the same perspective, you discover that we already have what it takes, right? Because just in LionTech alone, we have close to, I would say, like 1,000 persons in Nigeria who are on our platform. So that is already an entry advantage. So this is what we are looking out for. And this is how I have confidence that if we launch this first product, you're going to see for yourself and all of you will end up being employed. And that's what God told me, right? That, we are the light of the world. We are supposed to be problem solvers, solutions providers. That's why there is no problem anywhere on earth that the solution is not, in God. None, right? None whatsoever. So that's why the future is brighter and everybody have something. It now depends on, are you ready, right? Do you want to remain comfortable, or you want to invest in a solution that not only would guarantee you future income for life, right? And also employ you and all of that. So this is what we're looking out for this particular year. And I have strong conviction that God in heaven is with us and this vision is going to come to pass. So once again, welcome. I want all of us to work together, right? To make sure that Renting Africa launches big. We can do it, right? Because see, if you say, you know what, we want to launch Renting Africa in Nigeria, Cameroon, and Ghana. Believe me, that means that, oh my goodness. See, you're what? We're looking at $200 million a month. Tell me, right? This is how big I am looking at things for this year. Like this is it. You know what I'm saying, right? So this is it. And what we have to do, all of us, what is that when the time to invest comes, we have to go out there and convince ourselves, convince our families, friends to invest in the product based on what we have seen. And the team, you are going to be working on it, right? And when it goes to market, boom. Know what I mean? So not just that. Once that one launches, now what? You have enormous capital. You can what? You can launch several other products. This is how tech companies booms. I'm sure they are all over the place, right? So if we have a product to market, we are going to make it. That's the only way we can gain employment. That's the only way we can be empowered financially. Because even if you are hired today by MTN, you're working on MTN products, right? Maybe MTN Pay, MTN Mobile Money. In fact, it's all products that is servicing customers, servicing society as a whole. So this is how we are also going to contextualize everything that we have learned also in this program. This is why, I can tell you that this year is going to be a great year. Okay. And I want to thank all those who have been with us for more than 6 months. And you guys, your contributions are, yeah, it's great. But the goal is we want to create a future that we want. Okay. That's the goal. That's the goal. I have been in Canada by God's grace for 11 years. And I know that if this idea comes to light, just the Africans abroad, okay, that's going to be an opportunity for them to even invest in something that belongs to them. And that's how you are going to be able to benefit from their contribution. Because now, if we have what it takes to run the project, what happens? You ought to be employed and paid. This is how companies do it. It's through shares, right? When you have people invest in a company, the company has revenue to hire, to do things, right? So this is where we are going to 2026. And so I want all of you to take this to heart and say, hey, how do we get this product to market? Of course, we are going to start a lot of, working sessions on that. So already we are hiring front end. I don't know how many of you have seen the flyers, but we're hiring front end engineers or front end developers for now. and a UI UX designer, which we've already gotten two. All right, we're already working. Let me show you something. Okay, don't worry, I'm not showing you now. Okay, we're already working on, the UX and the UI design of the product and all of that. And then the front end developer as well. Okay, I have to work on the demo side. And so this is how we are going to make it. That's why I am so excited about what the future holds. So the question is, what will you play? Right? Because we all have to play our roles. Okay, but the future is brighter. And I want you all to have connections to LionTech Canada. And we are creating those legal opportunities for you all to be able to sow that seed into your future. I was telling somebody that, listen, the reason so many people get visa most often is insufficient funds. Insufficient funds because, of course, there's a lot of fraud happening in Africa when it comes to bank statements and all of that. But if you have just a share certificate from a company abroad, that's what, hey, you know what? I have my investment in Canada, and this is my investment is worth. And let's say I get $5,000 as dividends on my investment every year. That's already a huge plus. You have a source of income, steady like that. So the kind of things that we want to create so that Africans can also invest abroad. It's important because if you look at the stability of our various African economies, right? It's not that stable. It's not that most of us don't want to invest in Africa. We want to, but the environment is not conducive. And you are just one person. So if it cannot work for you in Lagos, right? But it can work in Toronto, why not? Right? Because see, let's go to that. Yeah, so that's the future for that's the plan we have for this year, and by God's grace, we are going to make it. Amen. Can somebody say amen? Okay, so that is it, and let's get to class. Pastor Salam. Okay. Yep. See that? Yep. This is good. Pastor, I like this. Full stack developer Daniel Carfor. That's wonderful. See that? Pastor, web developer intent. Great. There's a lot that is coming our way, and I believe that we are going to make it. Amen. So that's it. And yeah, so the goal is that project alone is going to see a lot of people being employed as customer service, like customer relationship managers, application support. A lot of opportunities is going to open up. So let's take advantage of that and also keep it in prayer. Make sure that we are all working to make sure that happens. Okay. Okay. Great. So let's get to class and.